Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is January the 13th. 2019. I don't even know what year it is anymore. Strong hand. Value your wealth in Bitcoin. Offended by selling. Be a unique beast. Unconfiscatable. Holder of last resort. Measure your time in halvings. All right. The photo you see up there is the one that I promised yesterday of me standing in the Sumerian hills in Israel. The one day I wasn't in Tel Aviv. I'm in Tel Aviv right now. I was at the Bitcoin embassy in Tel Aviv. And you might have also seen a picture just a few seconds ago of a crowd. And I was actually in that crowd. Hang on, let me see. Can you guys see me now? All right, good. And I'm going to hold up the magazine. This was Sarah at the Bitcoin embassy. You guys saw her on the show we did from the party 2 Thursdays ago. She found this magazine, Time Out Tel Aviv. And I mean, there I am. I'm like, I'm in the magazine. This is from New Year's Eve. And you guys familiar with my show? I did the show. It ended at about 11:20 Tel Aviv time. And then I went to a public square to where a market. And I just hung out and there was a party. Then I came back and I talked about the party. And little did I know, like when I was walking around there, they took my picture. And so I'm in here. And thanks Sarah for posting this at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin embassy and informing me that I've made the Tel Aviv magazines apparently. And it's funny, I have run now 2 times when running in Tel Aviv, I've run into people I know in Tel Aviv from the Bitcoin embassy. So, yeah, I'm getting used to it here. I mean, I guess I should stick around Israel. Pound that like button, baby. All right. And I will be definitely here until March the 13th. So let's start off with this tweet by BitSized Capital. He says, ironically, those burnt the hardest often become the most vocal champions of Bitcoin. A 90% drawdown, that's in fiat, I guess, yet an increase in investor conviction. Can you think of another asset which behaves this way? No, I can't. But again, there's some people that have they value their wealth in fiat and they bailed out. So again, there are some people that have been, in terms of fiat, burnt pretty hard, but they don't see it that way. They know 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. They still have the same amount of Bitcoin. I think J.W. Weatherman, he got in when the price was pretty high in fiat. And yeah, he's an example of a guy who is just become even more vocal as Bitcoin has gone down. He's a huge champion of Bitcoin, and that 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin, and that over the long term, it's going to be a great decision. It is a great decision. So interesting analysis there. BitSized Capital. I don't know. There are many weak hands that dropped out, dude. But the strong hands that have stuck around since 27, since the height. Oh my God, those. Yeah, you're right. They've got a lot of conviction. They've got and there's nothing like it in the world in any other financial paradigm and financial product. There's nothing like the Bitcoin conviction of the guys who got in at the height and are just, they know 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. Again, I can't say I got it in 2017. I got it in 2013. But as all of you know, I've got a really strong hand. And look at that. There's the honey badger. This is the shirt that was given to me at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin party, the biggest in the world, celebrating 10 years of Bitcoin on January the 3rd. And yeah, there's the back of it. And yeah, people were wearing this tonight at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin embassy. It was pretty good. The lady, and I forgot her name, from the Czech Republic, from Prague, who used to be at Trezor, who's now at Casa. was there. I didn't get to speak to her, but she was there, and I spoke to a lot of other people. I mean, she left by the time I guess I would have spoken to her. A lot of people were. I didn't go up to her right away or anything. A lot of people were really enjoying their time, and that was great. That she spoke at the Bitcoin. There was some Bitcoin conference here last week. Really like blockchain-y type of stuff. If you guys know what I mean, if you've been to these big things, and there were some scammers there, and when I'm going to talk about that in a second, because a government official from Israel spoke. A guy who advises Netanyahu, the prime minister, on financial matters, spoke about Bitcoin at this crypto event. And oh my God, I linked to it. Well, we'll talk about it in a second. Anyway, speaking about link to below, you can get shirts, you can get all sorts of stuff. Check out my affiliate links if you want to. And I've got, crypto, if you want to give me crypto, Bitcoin or any other coins. I don't, whatever. I encourage everyone to freeload and give me nothing and just to tweet out these things. I'm on Twitter. I'm TechBalt, TechBalt. Yeah, retweet some stuff of mine. That's cool too. Or do nothing. I'm not like Stefan Molyneux who says, "Don't be a freeloader, pay me." No, I don't pay him, so you don't have to pay me. Is it all good? It comes. I've said this many times. Giving these shows out for free and everything, it comes back to you. Trust me. And I learn every day. I'm learning because every day I have to do research for this show. So yeah, link to below. This Week in Bitcoin. TechBalt.com, TechBalt on Twitter. Anita Posh was on from Austria and gave us some great information about the German-speaking Bitcoin land. Alex Edelman was talking about Lali, and Nima Tabatabe was on, and this dude's got a great Twitter. If you go to Friday's show, all their links are there. You can investigate them. And then Saturday's show was the Beyond Bitcoin show. I had a lot of fun. And again, I talked about being in Samaria, and I was supposed to show that picture of me in the hills, and it just didn't show up. I didn't do it right. I hope it showed up right tonight. I'm not reading the chat. I never read the chat unless you do the super chat. If you want me to answer a question, you can do a super chat. I'll answer a question. So maybe people are saying, "Adam, I didn't see the picture again," or "Adam, I love the picture," or "Adam, I hated the pictures." And that's personal responsibility is new counterculture. Decide, do what you're going to do. Hate on me, like me, I don't know. Vinny Lingham has a tweet out there. The crypto market will rise again, but most likely only when the pain of the recent fall becomes a distant memory. Don't underestimate the power of psychology in free markets. No, I don't underestimate the power of psychology in the Bitcoin market, actually. And that's why when I hear all these people, saying, "Oh, it's the end of the world," and talking about all this FUD and retweeting FUD that they know is not true, I know that's not good. I know that 80%ers are going to get weak hands. I know that when there's negativity in the air, more and more people become weak hands, sell, and then the dollar value goes down. Again, the strong hands are like, whatever. We're here. We know one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. But yeah, that's the psychology of the market. It has become negative because of a lot of different reasons. So hey, that's why I try to keep. I keep it positive, man. I keep it pretty darn basic. I mean, really simple. 2020 halving. Learn what that is. That's a very positive thing, and that'll give you a positive vibe and perhaps turn around the psychology of this market. Which right now there's a lot of. Again, and I went through this in 2015. It's the same feeling. It's the same vibe that was in 2015. And Vinny freaking knows that too. And maybe he should elaborate a little bit more on that, but whatever. And he's laughing all the way to the bank, but he is a smart guy. He is a long-term thinker. He says these things in like, I think in semi-troll ways sometimes, but he's holding all sorts of stuff. And he knows that in the long term, that everything is going to be quite great. But there's so many people, so many reactionaries out there who, want a few negative things happen and they panic, and they're not long-term thinkers. They're impulsive and they get burned. All right. So on that same note, Matt Odell has a great tweet out there. All this is linked to below. Here's the quote. "This market is full of idiots. The next halving is priced in. Make up your mind. It can't be both." He's absolutely right. All these FUDsters out there, the people who try to create the negative vibe that I was alluding to before, they're going to say anything they can. They'll be like, yeah, the market's full of idiots, and the next halving is priced in. The next halving cannot be priced in if there's a bunch of idiots out there, okay? So I'm going to tell you what I think the market is full of. First of all, the next halving is not priced in. I went through the 2016 halving. It wasn't priced in, okay? It wasn't priced in. It's not priced in this time. People, I'm not going to call the market idiots, but most people are naive. Most people weren't around in 2016. So they didn't go through this before. They don't even know that the 2020 halving is coming up. So yeah, the market is full of followers looking for gurus and short-term confirmation. They want people to tell them, oh, everything's going to be all right tomorrow. That's what this market is full of. They're not 2020, that's nothing to them. They don't know the basics behind Bitcoin, that there's a halving. They don't care about the deflationary aspect, the limited supply of Bitcoin compared to, they just want the next Bitcoin. They don't understand Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. So yeah, and they're looking for people to give them the answers they want to hear. They want some guru. It's just like when the people ask me, oh, Adam, isn't Litecoin great? They want me to say Litecoin is great because they think Litecoin's great. It's not great. I'm not saying it's great because you want me to say it's great. And so it's going to make you feel better. Facts over feelings. Pound that like button, Ben Shapiro. Okay, so what else? Oh, so yeah. And yeah, again, as I said, most have no memory of 2016, and they have never controlled their private keys. Yeah, you got it. You've heard it before. So the market, I'm not going to say the market is full of idiots. It's just not, that's not nice. It's not a nice thing to say. It's full of impulsive people who've little experience. The next halving is not priced in. Learn what the next halving is, dude. So yeah, it's all cyclical department. And again, it is all cyclical. 2016, 2020, 2024. So here, there's a guy on again, I don't like to talk about CoinDesk articles. Didn't even read the CoinDesk article. The reason I'm bringing it up is because it was titled, Bitcoin Will Still Bite the Dust. So that is the name of a CoinDesk article here in 2019 by a man named Kevin Dowd, is a professor of finance and economics in the business school at Durham University and the co-author of the 2015 paper, Bitcoin Will Bite the Dust. Oh, what a shock. So 4 years later, he's come out of the blue to say exactly what he was saying in 2015, which just happens to be the year on the 4-year cycle that resembles 2019. So again, he'll come back in 2023 and he'll say again, Bitcoin will still bite the dust, I guess. Okay. I mean, it's nonsense. It's not going to, it wasn't going to bite the dust in 2015. It didn't bite the dust. You're saying the same thing you get as said in 2015, but you can say it easily now. People are going to lap it up because the fiat price is down. People like to hear this kind of stuff. I don't know what's wrong with people. People are, they've got negative attitudes. Most people, they want to hear more negative stuff. It's sick. It's a sickness. That's why I'm here, to tell you to have a freaking strong hand. Be positive. Life, you be in motion. You're doing awesome things. This is a time of opportunity. But for this guy, it's a time just to rear his ugly head every 4 years. Every 4 years, this guy's going to come back, say the same thing. He's saying the exact same thing he said 4 years ago. And it's no coincidence because it's the same 4-year cycle. All right. He will disappear again. Pound that like button. All right. So I got to play around with the BISQ, BISQ, decentralized, and I linked to it below, decentralized exchange. And yeah, it's not as easy. It's definitely not for newbies. It's not as easy as the regular exchanges. But it's something to play around with. It's moderate level stuff if you control your own private key. If you've actually sent Bitcoin before, if you have a Trezor, it's something to experiment with. If you've got some basically experiment with it. If you've got some altcoins that you want to dump and you want to get some Bitcoin for it, okay? And you can do that on this exchange quite easily, and no one will know who you are because it's Again, you can only trade 1 Bitcoin worth of your altcoin in a day. And yeah, man, if you got 1 Bitcoin worth of your altcoin, yeah, turn it into 1 Bitcoin. That's awesome. That's why it's called the 1 Bitcoin Show. People have asked that before. Why is it called the 1? Because you start with, that's your first goal. Look at that 1 Bitcoin, then 2, then 3, then 10, then 100, then 300, then whatever. 420. You know, there's 420 for Ken Bozak. You like that, Ken? Is Ken there? No, Ken's not there. No doubt Ken is watching the Eagles game, right? He's from that part of the country. Don't waste your time with that stuff, dudes. So where do we got here? Yeah, so again, playing around with the BISC exchange, though, looking at it, it does remind me how early everything is. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting if you know what you're doing. But again, if you have no clue, if you have little clue about what you're doing, it's probably very intimidating. And the user interface looks okay. It's like 1995 freaking internet, basically. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. These user interfaces are going to get easier. There's going to be more ways, easy ways to keep things anonymous like that and avoid these know your customer exchanges. It's early, and it's positive. And that's a positive for me. And that's why you can't panic. You can't panic in 2019, because when you look in the year 2028, which is 9 years from now, when you look back at your panic in 2019, you're going to have a massive heart attack at the amount of value you lost. I could have had a house if I would have just not gotten rid of that X amount of Bitcoin back in 2019 when I was trying to get some weird altcoin because I thought it was the next Bitcoin. So in the Bitcoin space today, something that can be, besides, I don't know, the various user interfaces that aren't too friendly. It's not user friendly yet, but something else that could be intimidating to people is that if they're partaking in the social media involved in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, whether it be on Twitter or YouTube. There is some cool, deep, theoretical, philosophical ideas around Bitcoin. And we've gotten to a point where, if people stumble upon that line of thinking, it can scare them away. There's a lot of stuff that can scare people away. Like we need more people presenting things in a very practical manner, some practical uses, some real life examples, keeping it easy, not complicating things too much. And the philosophical stuff, the theoretical stuff, the technical stuff is great. It is good. But you can't throw that in people's faces too much, in newbies' faces especially. So I think it can be kept simple and respectful and positive. And I'm going to do my part in making it so that I think this channel has always presented itself in that way. Just having a fun, positive attitude and not getting deep into theoretical discussions and not. I am not a technical guy. I can't explain the technicalities behind Lightning Network and everything. But I can tell you that I can put it in perspective for people who have lived through the internet, the growing of the internet, that this Lightning Network thing is just, we could not predict social media back in the year 2000. That you really couldn't predict it back then, or at least what it would become. And back when I was just a little meister, and it's who know we can't predict what they're going to be able to build on top of this Lightning Network, but it's going to be similar to that. It's going to be similar to what we couldn't predict back in 2000, 2001, and 2002 in terms of the internet. So where are we going here? It says in my notes, not playing in the censorship system anymore. Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. Why play in, or why put all your marbles in the censorship system? Completely relying on PayPal or credit cards or Patreon. You don't have stuff in that situation. Bitcoin has opened the door, so you don't have to play in the censorship system anymore at all. You're living in the Bitcoin overlay with the Bitcoin Meister. So a long time ago, not a long time ago. It seems like a long time ago. In late 2017, when I was like, these crypto dividends are freaking awesome, man. All we do is hold our Bitcoin. We get these free coins that we could turn into Bitcoin. And I still think that they're awesome. And I still think people are going to, people have contacted me recently saying they want to create crypto dividends that are pretty original, that I think will do pretty darn well. And again, reward Bitcoin holders with these altcoins. I think that's great. Because Bitcoin holders can it encourages them to hold more and turn them into Bitcoin. And, good luck to those altcoin creators. Good for you. But when I was talking about the glory of crypto dividends originally, when I came up with this term that's used all around the world, I said that some that are going to be created are just going to be 100% scams to steal your private key. And that's all so be very careful. You don't give your private key up to these people. Well, lo and behold, Cointelegraph has an article. 2 alleged Ethereum scam forks appropriating users' private keys, report finds. And yep, and one of them, one was called Ethereum Classic Vision. And I had actually mentioned that one. I had mentioned it on this show when I had read it mentioned in Arjun's article. Arjun was talking about how Ethereum is about to legitimately fork this week, okay? This is going to be very interesting because Ethereum Classic may benefit from this fork. I'm not going to get into this right now. But these scammers out there, they thought they'd take advantage of this and say, well, when Ethereum's forking, we're going to fork off of Ethereum too. And this is and it turned out to be a total scam. And they got busted beforehand. So good. I'm glad they got busted. But yeah, you got to be careful. It's just another reminder to not type in your private key, your recovery seed into any crypto dividend site that says, oh, this is how you get your crypto dividend. No, don't do that. What else do we have here? Okay, so I talked about the Ethereum. The real Ethereum fork is happening this week. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, good luck to Ethereum. Bitcoin is next Bitcoin. So now let's talk about the Israel. This video from by Professor Avi Simon. Yeah, he's a professor. Yeah, so I'm going to quote this tweet by who is this Twitter? This is I think this guy's name is Avi Zohar that tweeted this out. So he says, here's the classic uninformed position of Israeli authorities on Bitcoin. Now, by the way, it's not just Israeli government authorities that are this uninformed. It's like every Western nation's authorities are similarly uninformed to what this guy's. And you guys got to watch this speech. It's only 10 minutes, played at 1.5x speed. It's quite entertaining. Professor Avi Simon, head of the Israeli National Economic Council, was at the Bitcoin Summit. His main points: 1, printing Bitcoin costs too much. It's a total misunderstanding of mining and cost. He had a total misunderstanding of that. He said, Bitcoin, as you know it, will not exist for long. This is his theory. His Bitcoin's not going to exist for very long. This is his conclusion. You can read this tweet storm that this guy, other Avi guy, describes all the insanity of this dude's speech, okay? But watch the speech yourself. And I mean, this is bureaucracy for you. They got their heads in the sand. I mean, the guy was aware of certain things, but I mean, certain aspects of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I mean, he was clueless about. So this is going to sneak up on a lot of countries, on a lot of bureaucrats. It's unfortunate because maybe there will be some smarter countries. There will be some smarter countries that are going to put Bitcoin in their reserves and not tell anyone that they're buying it. And then one day the world's going to find out that, XYZ country bought a lot of Bitcoin in their reserves, and then every other country is going to try to do that. Vinny Lingham made that prediction back in 2016. And that prediction inspired me a lot, actually. I thought that was a great prediction. Hasn't come true yet. But again, that's sometimes these things, I think if any said it was going to come true in 2018. But sometimes these things take a little bit longer. And for the strong hands, for the people who can defer gratification, yeah, we know it will. There will be countries. But for now, we got Israeli bureaucrats, a guy who advises Netanyahu talking nonsense at a cryptocurrency event and watch it yourselves. So finally, I made up a new term, crypto resurrection. I advise altcoins that need to get a little traction out there, they need to pump themselves up. Do what the Be Private people are doing. See what they're, at least analyze what they're doing. These coin burn. Do the coin burn. Unmoved coins that have never been split away, in terms of the crypto dividend. They've never been claimed. That's a better way. Unclaimed coins by Be Private, they're being destroyed on March the 1st, I think it is. They're being burnt. This could be a trend in 2019 if this is successful. I linked to something below that shows a best case or a nice case scenario for Be Private for burning their unclaimed Be Privates. But there's plenty of altcoins that have been forks or whatever. They have unclaimed coins, or they could just make a new rule. Altcoins can do whatever the heck they want to. They can say if you haven't moved your coin in 3 years, it's going to be erased. If you don't do it by, it's going to be burnt. By if you don't move it by May 1st or some arbitrary date. So yeah, I'm big into money supply being very limited. So if you can limit your money supply, if you can decrease your money supply, I think it's a very interesting experiment. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to these Be Private people. And hey, maybe in 2019 that'll be the way to pump some of these altcoins again. They'll do the coin burn. Coin burn 2019. Pound that like button. Hey, if you're some altcoin dude, you're watching this, go tell your centralized leader. Listen to Adam Meister. Let's do it. It's worth your while, man. What else can you lose? It's already gone down so much in terms of Bitcoin, your altcoins. Why not? Put it all on the burn. It's worth the risk. Go all the way. What's that? That's a song by I don't know. It's from the 70s. Who was it? I want to say Deep Purple, but I know it was Eric Harmon and the Raspberries, right? Eric Harmon and the Raspberries. Good song. Go all the way. I remember when I'd be in my dad's car, of blessed memory, my father, when he'd be driving me around and he'd be listening to the oldie station and that song would come on. I was like, that's an awesome song. I don't know what that song's called. I looked it up on YouTube as I got a little older. Good memories there. Great memories to end the show with. Pound that like button, everybody. Bang that bell button. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the links below. Follow me at TechBalt. Click on those squares. I will say hi to you guys, and then I'm going to go to sleep. It's late.